Coming into the 2011 draft, Kemba Walker had draft comparisons to Derrick Rose. To a cultural standpoint, it was similar to what Rose did. Walker brought relevance to Charlotte, and so did Rose to the Chicago Bulls after the MJ era. They were both elite guards, built off craftiness and explosiveness. Kemba Walker brought Charlotte back to the playoffs after a 5-year drought since 2009. He was a 3-time All-Star in Charlotte and was their only All-NBA player since Alonzo Mourning. The things that Kemba did for Charlotte was fascinating, bringing relevance to a historically terrible franchise as a late lottery pick. From 2017 to 2019, Walker had his best seasons as a Hornet and some of the best seasons the Hornets had by an individual. In 2017 to 19, he averaged 24 points, 6 assists, and 1.2 steals on pretty solid efficiency. So how did this happen? Now, at 31, he is known as one of the worst contracts in the NBA and is now on a rebuilding Thunder team where his career might deteriorate. But what happened to Kemba Walker? Kemba Walker in the 2019 offseason had some decisions to make. He could either re-sign with the Hornets on a 5-year, $160 million deal, or he can go elsewhere. And we know he chose plan B, but the thing that the Hornets did to him was weird. They didn't offer him the Supermax, which was right. Kemba Walker is not a Supermax level player, but for a man that changed your franchise so much, they didn't even offer him the max. So we knew that there was going to be one team to give him that big contract, that max contract, and that was the Boston Celtics. But to Kemba Walker, this was sad. Charlotte just lowballed him, and he did so much for the franchise. Walker did say that he would take a pay cut to help Charlotte rebuild and make a bona fide playoff contender. They even quote, "But the Hornets' offer was perceived as a slap to the face of a player who had given his blood, sweat, and tears to the organization, who was undeniably their best player." After that weird altercation with Charlotte Hornets, Kemba Walker went to Boston, and we all know that. However, though, when Kemba Walker arrived in Boston, he wasn't seen as like a hero, but he was seen as a positive. Kemba Walker came in and he fit a role that Kyrie Irving was supposed to. Even though Kyrie was the best player on that Boston Celtics team, we just knew that there was something that wasn't gelling with that team. Kemba Walker facilitated more than Kyrie Irving. At least that's what Boston fans said. Kemba Walker had a better energy, was better to the media. This is all not me. This is just what the Boston media said. Kemba Walker was beloved by Boston Celtics fans the first year he was there. And shit, he even got an All-Star nod. He was very good the first year there, and it looked like he was going to be there for a while. That year, after COVID ended and all that, the Boston Celtics would be in the playoffs. In the second round, they met the Toronto Raptors, and, well, they did beat them in 7. But nobody thought that this matchup would go to 7. The Raptors were a very solid, well-constructed team, but Pascal Siakam had one of the worst playoff stretches in his career. How did you not just beat him in 5? Well, now starts the failure of Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker walks into that series averaging 17 points and 6 assists, but on some of the worst efficiency on the team. Now, Jaylen Brown didn't play well either, and Jason Tatum was solid. That series was just ugly, so they put it to the side. Kemba Walker then in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Miami Heat, well, he had a solid series, at least statistically. 20 points, 5 assists, with very solid efficiency, just like the efficiency that you expect Kemba Walker would give you. 56% true shooting percentage. But then it started all going downhill. The Celtics in their first game blew an over 10-point lead in the third quarter, and then their second game they blew another 10-point lead. Then we saw an eruption in the locker room with Marcus Smart yelling at people. It just wasn't a good look. In the end of the day, the Boston Celtics will walk out with 2 wins in that series, even though they did lose that series in 6. It looked like they were just a little bit away from the NBA Finals. But what started this downfall? In the bubble that season, Kemba Walker did get injured, and for some games, he just didn't look good at all. He looked like a shell of himself, and not only that, when you give somebody who's not playing well the confidence of Kemba Walker, it just doesn't show up statistically. Then, going into the 2021 season, we knew how injury-riddled the Boston Celtics were. They had the most missing games out of anybody like halfway through the season. They had Jason Tatum on COVID protocols. They had Jaylen Brown getting hurt, Kemba Walker getting hurt, Marcus Smart getting hurt. Key players missing time. We knew it just wasn't going to be the same team. Inevitably, that year was not too bad for Kemba Walker. He averaged 19 points, 5 assists on solid efficiency, shooting 36% from 3 and 90% from the free throw line. But that's not where the downfall started. In the playoffs, in the first round, nobody had expectations for Boston. They had a terrible season and was just quite disappointing because of the amount of injuries that they went through in the previous season. However, though, they were expected to have some good games out of their two stars, Jason Tatum and Kemba Walker. That wouldn't hold through, though. Kemba Walker, that series, averaged 13 points per game, 4 assists, shooting 31% from the field and 17% from three. Kemba Walker was just ugly that series, and the Boston Celtics just didn't want any more of it. Even in that 2021 offseason, the Boston Celtics tried to trade Kemba Walker for somebody like Jrue Holiday. It didn't go through, but you just know that there was not a connection between Kemba Walker and the Celtics organization anymore. Just a couple days ago, Kemba Walker got traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Al Horford. Kemba Walker was traded for somebody who had the worst contract in the league. That shows how low his value is right now. The saddest thing about Kemba Walker's career right now is not that it'll completely stop. He probably has a couple good years left in him, but nobody really wants to pay the price of his massive contract. Kind of like Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook last season, they said he was washed after he was injured in the bubble. Same thing with Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker can revitalize his career in OKC or any team he gets traded to. At 31 years old, Kemba Walker is washed and isn't looking that much valuable after carrying the Charlotte Hornets for 6 seasons, giving them some of their best seasons they've ever had, then to get backstabbed by him. And now, well, nobody wants him. Hey, thank you for watching the video. I appreciate all the support. Make sure to leave a like on the video. And yeah, I'll see you next time.
Why you talking like you know me? Sending shots just like I'm Kobe. Ballin' on them like you know me. I swear these motherfuckers phony. Chop 'em up like baloney. Coming through like I'm Tony.